Shalom, family. This is your brother Brandon coming to you with another sit-down lesson. And Lord willing, you guys are enjoying your day. In today's lessons, we're going to be dealing with the dietary laws. This is going to be a refresher to some of you and new information to most of you. And we're going to deal with it in categories. So we have the beasts of the field, clean and unclean. And we have your water animals, the fishes, clean and unclean. And you have your birds, which are going to be clean and unclean, and your insects, that's going to be clean and unclean. The first thing I want to prove to you guys is that we had understanding of the law before Moses, because most people say these are the laws of Moses. But in Genesis chapter 7 and 2, there was understanding of clean beasts and unclean beasts. And we're going to bring that out. This is the book of Genesis chapter 7 and verse 2. And it reads, "Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female. And of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female." So even Noah had understanding that there are clean beasts and unclean beasts as he was entering the ark. And the Most High told him, get your clean beasts and your unclean beasts. So we had the understanding before Moses. So these are not, the laws of Moses, the laws of Paul, Matthew. These are the laws of the Most High. And we had that understanding before Moses went up to get the commandments. I just wanted to prove that to you guys first and foremost. Now that we got that out of the way, we're going to be dealing with the beasts of the field. And we can start at Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 3. Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 3. And it reads, Leviticus 11 and verse 3. "Whatsoever part of the hoof and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat." So right here we have descriptions of what beasts we can eat. It has to part of the hoof, and it has to be cloven-footed, and it has to chew of the cud, which is grass, right? So I have a list, not a list, but like a name of a few animals that are part of the hoof, cloven-footed, and they chew of the cud, right? So, and it's going to be different because, our people are scattered across the four corners of the earth. So you might not have some of these animals in your area, but hopefully, Lord willing, some of these names I bring out are in your area or where you at, right? So you have bison, deer, cow, elk, goat, lamb, sheep, giraffe, for people that might have giraffes in their area, giraffe, and antelope. All of these animals, they chew of the cud, they part of the hoof, and they're cloven-footed, right? So these are all clean animals you can eat, all clean beasts of the field that you can eat, right? And now we're going to get unclean beasts that you cannot eat. So we're going to go to finish it off. Leviticus 11 and verses 4. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean unto you. So right here you have an example of a camel, right? It cheweth the cud, but it does not divide the hoof. So you have to make sure, it has to have all the characteristics of a clean beast, which cheweth the cud, cloven-footed, and divided the hoof. The camel, it cheweth the cud, but it doesn't divide the hoof. And verse 5, the coney, which is a rabbit, another name for a rabbit, it's part of the same family as a rabbit. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. So the hare is part of the rabbit family as well. The hare, the coney, it's all just a different name for rabbits, right? Verse 7. Now this one right here is more one that our people struggle with a lot. So-called Hispanics, black people, and Native Americans, right? Verse 7. "And the swine, though he divided the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean unto you. So swine, that's a pig, a boar. Same thing. It's just it's just a different name. Swine, pig, or boar. So I know our people, we love our pork, right? I can attest to that. When I was in the world, I love bacon. I love pepperoni pizza, sausage, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, croissant or a biscuit. But right here, the Most High is telling us we can't eat the swine because it's unclean to you, right? You know, it don't even chew up the cud. It is cloven footed, right? But pigs are they're very, very, very unclean animals. Like, they have no sweat glands. They roll in their own poop. They're just not clean animals, right? And I did just a little research for scientific evidence for y'all, just to show you, what comes with eating pork and what it can do to the human body. Like, if you overconsume it, you shouldn't be consuming it, period, because the Most High says you shouldn't. But I just wanted to put in some more facts and information on it, right? So the pig, it can give you diseases, right, or cause health problems like heartburn, high blood pressure, heart disease. Because if you eat a lot of processed pork, right, that has a lot of sodium in it, a lot of saturated fat, and that can cause your blood pressure to spike up if you keep consuming it at a certain rate, right? So all that leads to sodium, a lot of sodium, a lot of saturated fat. That leads to high blood pressure, Salakia. And high blood pressure, if your blood pressure is constantly high, right, that's going to give you heart disease. Those two coincide with each other. Your blood pressure is always high, that's going to lead to heart disease. And you don't want that, right? You don't want to have health problems. So for one, first and foremost, don't eat it because the Most High said it. And, it brings health problems to your life, right? So that's just some information on pork. And we also have other animals that are unclean, other beasts of the field. You have your swine, of course, which is your pigs and your boars, right? You have wolves, foxes. You never know who's out here doing this. Just got to put it out there. So wolf and foxes, right? Horses, donkeys. You cannot eat those animals because they're unclean to you, right? And another precept you can go to for the clean animals and unclean animals, we can go to Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 3 through 6. And it reads, Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 3 through 6. And this is just, proof of some of the animals that are brought out. There's some of those names that are brought out, they'll be right here as well, right? So Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verses 3. We start at verse 3. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing, right? Verse 4. These are the beasts which ye shall eat: the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the fallow deer, and the wild goat. So, I'll just finish off the verse. And the pygarg, and the wild ox, and the chamois. So all of those are clean animals you can eat, clean beasts you can eat, right? Verse 6 and 7, it goes into unclean animals you can't eat, right? Verse 6, and every beast that parteth the hoof and cleaveth the cleft into two claws and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. That's just finishing off the clean animals you can eat. Verse 7, nevertheless, these ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divided the cloven hoof, as the camel, the hare, the coney, for they chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. Therefore they are unclean unto you. And the swine, because it divided the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their carcasses. They're dead carcasses, Salakia. So it's just the Most High reiterating what he already said in Leviticus. But our people, we got to be told stuff more than once, right? So this is just another precept, and that is Deuteronomy 14, verses 3. You can go all the way down to 10, dealing with the beasts of the field, right? The next category we're going to be dealing with of unclean and clean animals, we're going to be dealing with the water animals, the fishes, right? And we're going to go to Leviticus 11 and 9. And it reads, Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 9. These shall you eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. So we got specific characteristic traits of fishes we can eat. They have to have fins and scales, right? And I have some names of fishes with fins and scales. They have to have both of them. Can't have fins and not have scales. It can't have scales and not have fins. Has to have both of them. And some of the names of fishes that we can eat are the clean: salmon, trout, tuna, cod, tilapia, carp, mackerel, groupers, or bass, right? Those are fishes that have fins and scales. And verse 10 is dealing with unclean fishes, right? And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. So anything that doesn't have fins and scales, that should be an abomination to you, right? So some things that I know our people struggle with, that's the unclean fishes. You have your sharks. Some people, they in different areas, they eat shark. You have octopus, fried octopus, are people like that. Alligator, that's more popular in the South, like parts Louisiana or Florida, even like Alabama, some parts of Alabama, right? But the main thing I want to tackle, right, is catfish. Our people really, really love catfish, right? Fried catfish is probably the most common thing. Me personally, even when I was in the world, I never really liked the catfish because of the texture it had. I didn't like how slimy it was. So, I praise to the Most High, but I never really was a big fan of catfish. But I have something, some facts on catfish, right? So I did just a little research. Catfish, they are very their diet consists of anything, right? They anything that they see, like if it just falls in front of them, they're gonna eat it. So a catfish, they eat debris, heavy metals, or any type of chemicals, because they don't, they don't know what it is. They'll just eat it like without no hesitation. So you're basically putting that in your body when you're eating a catfish, like the heavy metals they consume, the debris, the chemicals. So you're putting that in your body when you're eating the catfish. They are very unclean, and they bring a lot of health diseases as well. So first and foremost, don't eat it because the Most High said don't eat it. And just wanted to bring out some facts for you on catfish, on what they can do to you, and what they eat and what they consume and what you're putting in your body, right? So you got to be careful. Put clean things in your body. The Most High deemed clean things for us for a reason, and unclean things also for a reason, right? So once again, you have for clean fishes, you have your salmon, trout, tuna, cod, tilapia, carp, mackerel, groupers, and bass. And then for your unclean fishes, sharks, whales, catfish, you got your octopus, people like to eat, alligator as well, right? And another precept we can go to talk about, the clean fishes, Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 9 through 10. All right. And it reads, Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 9 through 10. Verse 9. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters, all that have fins and scales shall ye eat. Verse 10. And whatsoever have not fins and scales ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you. So there it is, reiterated again, has to have fins and scales. That's clean for you. Verse 10 tells you what's not unclean for you, what's not clean for you, Salakia. Anything that doesn't have scales and fins. So that is your fishes of the seas, right? Now the next category we're going to be dealing with are your birds, right? And we're going to go back to Leviticus. The whole chapter 11 of Leviticus is telling you the clean animals and unclean animals you can eat. All right. So we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 11, and we're going to get verse 13. All right. And this is going to be telling you about your unclean birds, that you can't eat birds of prey, right? Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 13. And these are they which ye shall have in an abomination among the fowls, birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, the ostrich, the osprey, and the vulture, and the kite after his kind, every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckow, and the hawk after his kind. So every bird of prey, right? You got the eagle, the ostrich. Ostrich is just another vulture. It's part of the family of the vulture, right? And you have the osprey, which is part of the family of the eagle or the falcon. All of these are birds of prey. Birds of prey eat very unclean. They eat roadkill. They almost eat anything, right? They're birds of prey. They just hunt on anything, right? So these are all your birds of prey that they are unclean for you. If you just read all the way down from this whole 13 through 20 is just giving you all the unclean birds, right? But if you go to Numbers 11, chapter 11 and verse 31, you do have a bird that we can eat that is clean unto you, right? And this is Numbers 11 and verse 31. This is when we were in the wilderness, right? When we left out of Egypt and we camped in the wilderness, the Most High, he sent us quails, right, for us to eat. And this is Numbers 11, verse 31. And there went forth a wind from the Lord and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, as it were a day's journey on this side, and as it were a day's journey on the other side, round about the camp. And it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. So the Most High sent us quails for food, right? To keep us from, starving. And he sent so many quails that, there were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. So we had plenty of chicken, right? Because chicken, it's quails and chicken, they're part of the same family. So I did some research, right, of birds, that are related to quails, are part of the same family. To give you that we can eat. So birds that we can eat are, and all these birds are related, right? You have quails, of course, chickens, turkey, peafowl, pheasants, and pigeons. All of these birds are clean birds you can eat. So these are the clean birds, and we went over the birds of prey back in Leviticus chapter 11, verses 13 to 20. So you have a good selection you can choose from. You have, like I said, the quails, the chickens, the turkey, peafowl, pheasants, pigeons. And if you really want to find more birds, you can just type in, the family of the quails and birds that are related to them, and they'll give you a whole list of birds if you want to find even more, right? Now, the last category we're going to be dealing with are your insects, right? Your clean and your unclean insects. And we're going to go back to Leviticus chapters 11 and verse 21 to 22. Now, I'm not a big insect, I'm not a big insect person, you can't eat them, but, to each his own, right? So this is Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 21. Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet to leap with all upon the earth. Verse 22. Even these of them ye may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. Locusts are just grasshoppers, right? And also crickets. You can eat crickets as well. So, to anybody that wants to, try insects, you can eat your grasshopper. You can eat your cricket if you want to. That's what you want to do. Me personally, probably won't never try it unless I'm in a situation to where I have to. But for anybody that wants to try insects, you got your grasshopper, you got your crickets, and it says the beetle after his kind. So to anybody who wants to try that, Lord willing, if that's on your spirit, you can give it a try. In verse 23, it's going to be dealing with your unclean insects, right? But all other flying creepy things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. Now, I got, interesting facts. There are animals that are in the water that are insects as well. And that, I know our people really love these, but these are insects. They're all a part of the same family, which are the arthropod families, right? You can look that up for yourself, the arthropod families. And these insects belong in that family. Salakia. You have your lobster, shrimp, crab, crawfish, right? Most of our people, they love their seafood wars, right? They love their lobster, their shrimp, their crab, their crawfish. But all of those animals are unclean to you, right? And they are all insects, related to insects, I should say. They are all a part of the same family, right? And, I did, when I was in the world, I did love shrimp fried rice, chicken Alfredo with shrimp. Most of our people, when you go to a restaurant and you wine and dine, you get your lobster with the steak, or you might have your surf and turf shrimp steak, and I forgot what else is in that, but you have your surf and turf, right? But those foods are unclean to you, so you have to stop eating your lobster, your shrimp, your crab, crawfish, clams, all of those. All of those are unclean, right? So all of these animals, they are insects, and they are part of the arthropod families, meaning they have jointed legs and a harder outer shell of their body, the exoskeleton, which most insects have, right? So those are all your animals of each category. You have your beasts of the field, you have your fishes of the sea, clean and unclean, right? You have your birds, clean and unclean, birds of prey, and you have your clean birds, right? And you have your insects that you can eat that are clean, which are your grasshoppers, your crickets, and your beetles after his kind, right? And you have your unclean insects, your lobster, shrimp, crab, crawfish, spiders, centipedes, all of those are unclean, right? And to close it out, I wanted to bring, a judgment out for when Yahweh Shah comes back, of what will happen if he sees you eating these unclean foods, right? And we're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, 15 through 17, right? And it reads, Isaiah chapter 66, verses 15 through 17. All right. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and rebuke with flames of fire. So Yahweh Shai is coming back with a wrath of anger to rebuke the children of Israel who are sinning, right? Verse 16, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So the Most High is coming back to spill blood. He's coming back to kill, right? We already know 2/3 of Israel will be completely wiped away, right? Verses 17, that they sanctify themselves, they that deem themselves holy, right? And purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, an abomination, and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. So purifying themselves, cleaning themselves of their sins, their moral blemishes, their faults. And the later end of that verse, right? Eating swine's flesh. So it's right here, even Yahweh Shai, eating swine flesh, that's unclean. And the mouse. Now that goes without saying, you shouldn't be out here eating mouses, but you got some people who eat mouses, Moabites. They love eating all kind of weird foods. And the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. So if you eat all of these unclean food, you're going to be consumed all together, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shai. And with that, that's going to be the end of this lesson, family. I pray that you were edified, you learned something new. And if you have questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll answer them for you to the best of my abilities. And I pray that you have a good day. And Lord willing, you guys stand in the spirit, right? And I say shalom, family. Have a good one.